for your programming assignment. You are going to want to take a look at this GitHub document because this is how you are going to be submitting your completed exercises. And there is a video that walks you through this. Okay, and if you do have any problems doing this, obviously you can come in to live stream office hours for help. But you know, if you're trying to do this at the last minute and it's not working, then go ahead and copy paste and put it into the Dropbox, and we will get this figured out. But you have several exercises that you're going to complete, and the focus of this assignment is on basically classes and methods. I want to make sure that you have a nice foundation in that moving forward, especially before we get into inheritance. So you're going to create a new C# console application. You're going to call it Bookstore. This is going to be similar to the club example. So you're going to want to make sure you refer to these examples because that will help you do the assignment. Okay, and so here's kind of your skeleton for your program that you're going to add to Program CS. You are going to create a new class, and that new class is going to go right above the My Store class, and you're going to call it Book. And the Book class is going to have 3 private fields. That'll be an integer. These 2 will be string. And what you need is to create a default constructor and a parameterized constructor. And then you're going to need get and set methods for your ID field, for your title, and for your author. So that is going to be just like this example. Okay, the only difference in this example is we're getting full name. And what you're going to have to do is do like a get title where you're returning the title and a get author where you're returning the author. Okay. Once you've got the class created in the main method, you're going to end up creating 4 objects, 4 book objects. The first one, you're going to use the default constructor, and you're going to use the set methods to add values. And so this is an example that shows you how to do that with the club class, but you need to do it with the book class. Okay, and then for the second object, you're going to use the default constructor, and you're going to prompt the user to enter the data. So again, this is an example showing you how to do it with the club class. You have to do it with the book class. Okay, the third one uses the parameterized constructor, and you can actually hard code values like this. And the fourth one uses the parameterized constructor, but you're going to be letting the user input data. Okay, so it's similar to this example. Okay, then you're going to create a method right after the closing curly brace for the main method. And the name of your new method is going to be display books. So where is that going to go? All right, so here's your main method, and display books is going to go right here. Okay, and display books is going to receive a book object. And this example, display members, is receiving a club object. You're going to be passing a book object. Okay, and then you are going to print out a little heading, and you're going to print out the ID. You're going to print out the title and the author. Okay, so it's going to be similar to this. but instead of get full name, you're going to have to do, like get title and get author. At the bottom of the main method, you are going to be calling your display method that you just created. So you're going to call display books 4 times to print out information from each book. So it's going to look similar to this, okay? But obviously you're going to be calling display books, and the objects that you're going to pass are the book objects that you created. Once you have this working correctly, you are going to follow the directions for GitHub to push this up to a repository. So that is the first exercise. The second one, you are going to open up your bookstore project and you're going to copy all of the code that you have in Program CS. You're going to create a new project and you're going to call it Bookstore with Count. Okay, and then you are going to add a static field to your book class that keeps track of the number of book objects that were added. Okay, so this is very similar to this example. Okay, you can see here we have transactions. You're going to be keeping track of the number of books. And you can see it's initialized to 0 here. You're going to have to do the same thing. You'll have maybe, I don't know what you're going to call it. You can call it transactions if you want, but you'll have a set method where you add 1. And then you'll have a get method where you retrieve the value. Okay, and so that is basically what the directions are telling you. Then in the main method, after each constructor call, use the book object you created to call setTrans, which is going to add 1. Okay, so here's an example. So here I'm creating a club object, and if I had a transaction variable, I would use the object to call setTrans, and that's what you're going to be doing. And then down here, you can see that I'm using the object member 30 to call setTrans. Okay, so you're going to have to do that call after each one of your objects is created. Then at the bottom, right before you call, I think it's display books, you're going to just want to print out how many books you have. Okay, so here it's just printing out, how many new members there are. And any of the objects can call getTrans. They're sharing the variable. There is only one, so any of these objects can call. And that's going to be the same with yours. Any of the book objects can call the getTrans method. Okay, and so once you're done with this, you are going to push this project to GitHub. Okay, and put a link from the repository into the Dropbox. Then your last program is going to be one where you are going to create a class that you're interested in. Okay, so you're going to call the program or the project My Project. You can actually use the code from either exercise 1 or 2 kind of as a basis for this. Your namespace should be My Project. And then you're going to think of a class that you want to create. And it can be anything, gaming, photography, fitness, schoolwork, anything you guys are interested in. Okay, make up a name for your class and add it below namespace, my project, and then the opening curly. You need 3 private fields in your class. Okay, you decide what they are and what the data type should be. You need a default constructor, you need a parameterized constructor, and you need get and set methods. In the main method, you have to add 2 objects with the default constructor and 2 objects with the parameterized constructor. After the objects have been created, you're going to print out the object information to the console. You decide the best way to do this. So we created the display books method, and we passed the object. You can do it that way, or you can just do console.writeLines in the main method. You decide the best way to do it. And once you have the program working correctly, make sure you save everything and add it to GitHub. So that is the assignment. If you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know. And I'm hoping that when you guys are done with this, that you're feeling a lot more comfortable with classes and objects.